Hello and welcome to the Kryptonaut Podcast. I am Mark Stores, and with me as always is...
I'm Chris.
And...
Rob Morphy.
Quarantine day number what, guys? What do we got here? How many numbers are we at?
I have not been counting this down at all.
What
Yeah,
day?
me either. It's been over a month since I worked, but that's not since the actual quarantine. So
Yeah, it's been about a month since I've actually worked like a full week. I'm just doing Mondays and Wednesdays. I can't figure out what day it is. I don't know where I am
Tuesday.
or what I'm doing.
Every day's Tuesday for me.
Every day. Literally every day's a fucking Tuesday.
It really is.
Yeah.
The month of 1,000 Tuesdays.
Yeah, this has been like the longest. I don't even... When was the last time that we even saw like potted together? It was
There's a difference. I get to see you occasionally from 20 feet away looking like a mass terrorist when you drop some shit off.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Chris in over a month like at all. But the last time we actually hung, it's had to been, I don't even know.
It's probably been like, it doesn't seem like it, but I think it's been like 3 weeks. I think we potted that first week. Before they actually did the quarantine.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So it would have been maybe like the last week in the second to the last week in March.
Yeah.
Really?
Is it?
It feels
it's
longer to
April.
me.
It's April, right? It is April.
Yeah.
No, it's 100% April.
Here in New York, our quarantine got extended to May 15th or whatever, so this is just a new reality that we're living in. So thank you all so very much for joining us. The social medias, the Instas, the Twitters, and the Facebooks, check it out all there. It's awesome. Thank you all for the DMs and the support and the well wishes, even though we're just kind of hanging out doing nothing. We appreciate it. We love all of our listeners and all of our fans. It's so very nice to interact with y'all on a regular basis, especially when we're just killing time in the quarantine. Patreon.com/Kryptonaut Podcast. Some interviews going up there. Check that out. That is super cool. $1 is a shout out. $5 is a shout out and some bonus audio. Hellerspace.com. We have two different designs that are going towards the local Cuba County Meals on Wheels charity. So check it out there. Again, that is Hellerspace.com. Two different designs. One of them is the Plan 9 from Hellerspace design. And the other one is the Hellerspace Alive with me, Rob, and Chris as Kiss characters. Only 3 members of Kiss. No one has asked where the Catman is, but there's a whole story behind that. So check all that out. We're going to do some Patreon shout-outs now. We're going to preempt this with that if we fuck your name up, it is your God-given duty, Satan-delivered duty to contact us and say, you fucked my name up, do it again, okay? You paid for this. So we're going to get started here, and if you hear your name and you're like, oh, they fucked it up, you send an email to kryptonautpodcast@gmail.com and we will correct it. Sound good?
Fucking phenomenal.
All right, here we go. I'm going to get started with Kevin Malicio Sr.
Thank you, Kev.
Thank you very much, Kev.
Excuse me, I'm going to be thanking these people. Sinopian and All-Fired Rush, all right?
Okay. Matt P.
Thank you, Matthew.
Kang Ta.
Bam.
Eric B. Writer.
Thank you for that fucking key spelling phonetically, because I would have be-rooted the fuck
I would have be-rooted too.
Yeah, totally.
I'm going to pick it up from here.
Okay.
We got Ev Waldron, fucking
What up, Ev?
Hey.
Fucking hey.
Adam Hogginson, again.
What up, Adam?
We fucked it up. Tim Polish.
Oh,
and
Tim, what up?
Doug Knipple, or as we debated earlier, where K's are often silent when followed with an end, Doug Nipple. If either one of those is wrong, just let us know and we'll say it again.
Yeah, exactly. Let us know, Doug. Okay, I have Janie Jefferson, Tim Puff,
Sweet.
Audrey O'Toole.
It's Aubrey, dude. I saved you there.
I'm sorry. Aubrey O'Toole.
Sorry, Aubrey. It's a beautiful
Sorry
name.
about that.
We really did go over this. Mark's going to get a whipping after this.
Yeah, I can't read, and I'm definitely not sober. So, okay, and my last one here is Holly Solchenberger.
I think that's right, actually.
I think I got it, yeah.
That looks legit.
All right, here's the fucking tongue twister, God bless you. And so we're just going to wing this off. Catherine Woganrich Baumgart. I hope I got that right.
You got it.
Maybe it's Baumgart.
Yeah,
but either
maybe.
A beautiful, regal-sounding name, Catherine, and thank you for signing up for Patreon.
Yes, thank you so
also,
very much.
we've got Janaya, I think it's Porsche, or Porsche. Let's go with Porsche. I've got Jamila, and thank you again for the pronunciation. And
what up, Jamila?
Yeah, fucking thank you. And Justin Watts.
All right, I have Chandra Matson. Is that good?
Yeah, I think so.
Cat Pringle.
Sweet.
Indrid.
Just Indrid.
Just
Is it
Indrid.
chilly?
There you go.
Is it a little bit balmy where you're from, Indrid? You know what I'm saying? Are you the one?
Yeah. Well,
Are you the one?
Michael Jones.
Mike. Let's move on with... It's Mike. What? I can't be cool with Mike.
I just like to pause to sound like, Mike!
Mike! Michael Jones!
All right, moving on, Robert.
All right. That guy, Goldie.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Nice.
Zach Clute.
Oh, Clutie.
Shit. What up, Clute? What up, Zach?
Douglas Davis.
Oh, shit. Actually, I know Douglas Davis from the old Twitterverse. What up, Douglas?
And Donald O'Connor.
Oh, what up, Donald? What up? All right, I got Dennis DeLue.
Delia.
Oh, Jesus, Delia. Okay. I got this one. Sir Her.
Nailed it.
Like
Don't
that. How
fuck
about
up
this one?
this next one.
No, I'm not. This right here. This is our dude, Joe Thunder.
Oh, yeah.
Sweet.
And Jeffrey Cox, which I believe actually is related to Nicklaus Cox. So thank you so very much, Jeffrey.
Oh, thank you.
We have two last ones here. Robert, please bring us out.
Unless Chris wants to bring us out with the last two.
Chris is not going to do it.
I think he will.
No, I could.
Okay.
We got two. We have Shonda Magpie.
Nice. What up?
And Rylan Hincharuk.
Nice.
Man.
Good job. There you go.
Rylan is such a badass name. He's got to be like a male model. Just trust us, you are.
So,
thank you,
again,
everybody.
Thank you so very much.
One and all.
For your Patreon contributions. If we murder your name, we more than likely did murder your name. Just write us, and we will correct that. And as a matter of fact, we do have a correction here. It is David Boskowski. We screwed up David's name a couple.
Oh yeah,
Boskowski.
it was like Bachowski or something. See, that's it. It's just that simple. And you know what? Some of you guys are going to get your money's worth for sure because we probably mangled your name 2 or 3 different ways.
Yes,
true. Then you can just give us the phonetic pronunciation, and hopefully we'll get it right then. Hopefully.
Exactly.
Yeah, so there you go. So thank you all so very much. We appreciate it. Moving on with this week's episode. This week we are talking about the Bell family. Oh, Robert, what could this be about?
This is a fun one. This is a little esoteric little story from the American Midwest that I just think is a hoot, if you will.
All right. Well, let's get started with, in the early 1970s, following a series of bizarre encounters, a group of suburban St. Louis motel employees became convinced that a family who had come to stay at the inn was not merely from out of town, but literally hailed from out of this world.
Trauma time.
You like that?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy, Mark.
Yeah. Side note, my mic smells really bad.
What? How? Why? What did you do with
beer,
it?
Do you wipe your ass with it?
No, it's covered in beer and Mark spit. So, all right, the Bell family. Robert, we're going out of this world. What do we got, dude?
On May 15th, 1970, at approximately 10:30 a.m., a motel front desk clerk by the name of Dorothy Simpson was hard at work inspecting a sheaf of billing documents at her desk when the tedium of her task was broken by a loud, whistling sigh. Startled, Dorothy glanced up and saw what she described as 4, quote-unquote, tiny people who seemed to have simply appeared in front of her. So no jangle of the bell, no hustle of the luggage.
Yep, just there. They portaled right in.
A whistling sigh, yep.
And then they're there.
Dorothy no doubt thought it strange that she had not heard the group enter the motel through the front door, but was almost certainly too awestruck by the sight of the individuals now standing before her to concern herself with their unusual entrance. The first thing Dorothy noticed was their height, or lack thereof, as the tops of their heads barely breached the edge of her desk. She noted that they were not proportioned like little people, but full-sized adults, albeit very small ones. The second thing Dorothy was struck by was the similarity of their appearance. The 2 men and 2 women all had nearly identical youthful facial features and seemed to be expensively attired, with the males clad in matching tailored suits and the females in pastel peach dresses. The slightly larger of the group, a male and female, stood at the fore while their apparent children, presumably a daughter and son, remained behind them. So the only difference between the genders are, the dress and the suits.
Right.
And the only difference between the ones that were apparently the adults and the children was height. Otherwise, features nearly identical.
And they're all dapper and shit, looking all nice.
Apparently, like classy as the dills.
Nice.
Yeah, little tiny flashy dressed people. I like it.
Little falutin' people.
Yeah. Falutin. Low falutin. There you go. Dorothy saw that their heads were wide at eye level, but their faces thinned abruptly to their chins. Sort of, I guess, like an inverted triangle. She noticed that their eyes were large, dark, and slightly slanted, and that their noses were essentially without bridges. They had slit-like nostrils, and their mouths were tiny and virtually lipless. They all looked uniformly pale.
So we can say that this definitely does not look like a normal person at all.
I would say not.
At all.
You know what it actually kind of reminds me of? Sans the big freaky eyes and apparent either hair pieces or actual hair. The alien painting on the cover of Whitley Strieber's Communion.
Oh,
so you got these,
totally. I hate that.
Oh, I know. It's so it's like off the scale on the ick factor. Everyone's bothered by it. A lot of people say it's because you probably were abducted at some point and it's triggering something in you. And maybe for some people that's the case. But as far as I'm concerned, gross. It's just gross. Yeah, it's grubby to the max. So imagine that, but I suppose in the shape and the nose and the mouth, but more human-like eyes and hair.
Okay.
I think that's fair.
Yeah,
Dorothy also silently observed, here we're going right to this. Dorothy also silently observed that their hair did not appear to be real, and she suspected that they were all likely wearing wigs. In the middle of her assessment of these unusual guests, the elder man broke her reverie with a falsetto voice inquiring repeatedly, "Do you have a room to stay? Do you have a room to stay?" But I can't quite capture that falsetto. I'm wondering if Chris can help me out here.
I might be able to do it. What do they say?
Do you have a room to stay? Twice in a row.
Do you have a room to stay? Do you have a room to stay?
Yes.
Thank you for doing that for me. Oh my God, I've been dying to hear that so bad. Dude,
you're fucking welcome.
Oh, you just literally made my night. I can't even tell everyone how happy that just fucking made me.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nailed it. Bell family.
There it is. Boom.
Dorothy reclaimed her professional veneer and explained the motel's rates, but the tiny man's perplexed expression indicated that he could not comprehend what she was saying. He then turned to his mate as if expecting her to clarify the situation, but she remained silent.
Like any good husband, you turn to your wife.
Always.
And you look at her and you say, "What is this earthling talking about?" And then she's like, "You don't know anything. Fucking go away." And then you're just stuck again. You're just sitting there.
Is that how it works?
Wow.
That's
okay.
Yeah. Well, you guys aren't married. This is the shit that I deal with all the time. I'm like, "Nick, what the fuck?" And she's like, "I don't even care." And then she walks away.
I don't even know.
I love the fact that Nick always sounds like a Valley Girl every time you do an impression of her.
She doesn't really sound like that,
at all.
But that's just how, I ain't care about. Oh my God, go Wegmans. Oh my God.
Well, actually, it's Lumpy Space Princess meets a Valley Girl.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, totally.
Oh my God, that's the best. Okay.
All right.
Dorothy then recalled the uncomfortable period of silence which followed, wherein the apparent couple was staring at each other without exchanging a word.
Totally
Could it be
married.
Could it be that these individuals were communicating psychically? Was the female explaining to the male how to use Earth money? What transpired between them remains unknown. Or as Mark pointed out, it could have just been her just staring at him like, "You're a fucking idiot," and him staring back like, "Please help me." And she stares back,
exactly.
"Fuck you." And he's staring back,
I don't know what I'm doing. Right.
I don't care, Mark. I care. I can read her mind. She's saying that right now upstairs. I don't care.
Okay.
Finally, the silence was broken when the man reached into his pocket, retrieving a thick wad of crisp, new, large denominational bills. Yeah. Due to their apparent lack of circulation, Dorothy grew concerned that the bills might have been counterfeit, but after a brief informal test, she realized that they were kosher and removed a pair of $20 bills from the stack, returning the remainder.
This dude is just balling out of control. Balling.
Oh, yeah. No, they're straight balling. Like, they're going to make it rain all over fucking Missouri with this shit.
Totally.
As the man was too small to reach the desk, Dorothy kindly offered to fill the reservation form out for him. When asked for his name, he claimed that it was A. Bell. Alexander Graham, Art, who knows?
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of A. Bells.
Yep. There is.
Yeah, Art. It could be Art Bell. There you go.
Rest in peace, but yes.
R.I.P. Yeah.
When asked, and where are you from? The man's arm suddenly shot skyward and he said, "We come from up there." At this point, the woman pushed his arm down with what one must assume was a disapproving look and spoke for the first time, clarifying the matter and claiming that they were, in fact, from Hammond, Indiana.
Oh, yeah.
That's a difference.
The one in the sky.
Yeah, the one in the sky. You know, the only city in Indiana, the floating Indiana Hammond. We all know it.
The dude
That's
just,
so
his
funny.
arms, I just imagine his arm is going up. We're from up there. And then she just gives him that slow head turn and puts his arm down. And she's like, Hammond, Indiana. And then there you go. No fucking questions asked after that. But man.
Dorothy then handed the man her pen so he could sign the register. He gave it a puzzled glance, then clumsily attempted to relay his signature, giving the desk clerk the distinct impression that this was the first time he had ever used a pen. So I don't know, like, how he was gripping it. I don't know, like, if it was wedged between his pinky and his, like, knuckles. I don't know what he was doing, but he was like, fuck.
And his wife still is not helping him. She's just completely not impressed with him at all.
Yeah.
But this is where she takes over. The small woman inquired as to where they could find food, and Dorothy pointed them toward the motel restaurant. As soon as they were out of sight, she called the bellhop in to store their bags and informed her manager about the peculiar visitors. The manager told the bellhop to scan the parking lot for any vehicle bearing an Indiana license plate, but none were to be found. He then ordered Dorothy to check the alleged address. Not surprisingly, they soon discovered that both the name and the address appeared to be fraudulent.
Uh-oh.
No Hammond, Indiana? I don't know.
No.
Couldn't tell you.
As strange as it was, Dorothy's initial exchange with these tiny tourists would not be the last, as more members of the motel staff would have interactions with the strange Bell family. The next individual to make contact was the restaurant hostess who led the family to a table. She noticed that even the chins of the adults barely reached the lip of the table. So that's just fucking
that's
nuts.
Weensy. That's weensy.
Tiny.
Yeah.
So if the adults barely reach the lip of the table, and I don't know how they get their arms over to eat, then I don't know what the kids are doing, or the tinier adults.
It would be like taking like a 3-year-old and sitting them down like in a regular like restaurant table and be like, here you go, eat. Like I'm assuming that, like you said, their arms are not going to be in proportion to touch the table. Their legs clearly are just a dangling away. So, it just seems super weird, like super weird.
After receiving a menu, the father proceeded to read its contents aloud, pausing intermittently to ask the hostess odd questions regarding the origins of vegetables, milk, and other common foods. Totally common thing to. You're from Indiana. They've never been to Missouri. Of course they're going to want to read the entire fucking menu out loud. And ask as to the origins of vegetables. That's just a common thing. And if you're a courteous host, you accept that.
Just imagine that poor host having to. That poor host has to stand there and like answer all these questions. Like, well, vegetables come from Jesus, and he sows them in the fields, and then he harvests them. Like,
you're not helping.
I'm just saying. If I was the hostess, I'd be like, the rutabagas are from the devil, and the milk is from.
Onions are clearly part of the Satan.
Yeah, well, I like onions, but
you like the
not when they're sautéed. They become sanctified when they're sautéed.
If you can cook an onion to a salty brown, then they become sanctified.
Is that how you save an onion's soul? The salty brown soul of an onion?
It's salty brown.
Like, this has to be the longest order this poor hostess has ever taken if he's reading everything and then asking what everything is.
Yeah. Eggs Benedict.
Over easy.
Moons over Miami.
Over hard.
Yeah, there you go. All right, well.
The mother.
Hopefully they left a good tip.
The mother then ordered a meal consisting of peas and milk for her and the children.
No.
And for the man, she also requested peas, a small steak, and water. And if the method and content... What were you saying?
I said, fuck these guys.
Fuck these guys is right.
Peas and milk?
Terrible.
Get out of here.
Oh.
Peas
Get the fuck
and
out
milk.
of here.
Yeah, I like peas, but I definitely don't like. I mean, I guess peas and water would work, but man, peas and milk.
That's your beef? That it's peas and milk? Seriously?
Yeah, I don't like milk.
Like peas and water is a perfectly. I order that for my children all the time.
Yeah, you're right.
But
peas and orange juice.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, peas and orange juice.
That's fine.
God.
But peas and milk.
No, I draw the line at milk. It's disgusting. All right.
And if the method and content of their order weren't already bizarre enough, their technique for consumption would take the cake. When their meals arrived, the family, apparently unaware of the purpose of spoons, each picked up a single pea with a knife and precariously lifted it into their small mouths, whereupon they inhaled the tiny green orbs with a pronounced sucking sound, as etiquette fucking insists. Of course, you eat a single pea on the edge of a knife.
I'm just impressed that they were able to get the pea on the knife and they all managed to do it.
Yeah,
maybe they're super dexterous. Like also, as we pointed out earlier, they're reaching above the table. So they're reaching up over the table, rolling a pea gently onto the edge of a knife, bringing it to their mouth that's tilting at an angle upward and go like fava beans.
God. This is the longest. This is like the longest meal ever. Like, Jesus Christ. It must take them like 3 hours to eat.
Oh my God.
Well, Thanksgiving's a fucking nightmare.
Also noted that the father was apparently unable or perhaps unwilling to ingest even the smallest piece of steak through his slit-like mouth. While it may have been a mere biological stumbling block, it's not difficult to assume that any advanced species might have long given up the consumption of other, at least quasi-sentient life forms. That's just my speculation. Maybe they don't have any beef with maybe they are, maybe they're not. I'm not saying all intelligent life is vegan by any means, because I like to think I'm okay in the bright level, but I love my fucking meat, so I don't think it's a prerequisite. But I'm just trying to figure like why this guy. Well, first off, why'd she order him a fucking steak if he didn't want it, and why he's just having such a tough time with it? Maybe it's just hard to chew. Maybe they got like little rubber teeth. I don't know. Yeah,
well, maybe they noticed a couple people around them were having it, and they're like, "Well, we should get it
blend
too."
In.
Yeah.
You're right. You're right. That's a thought. It didn't even occur to me. Without exchanging a word, the family all abruptly ceased eating at exactly the same time. The father withdrew a $20 bill and handed it to the waitress. When she returned with the change, the group had vanished, but they were far from gone. And let's just trip on the fact that even though most of them only ate peas and milk, just to get a steak and everything else that's under $20.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, really.
Right.
Old-timey. The bellhop who initially stowed their luggage and searched vainly for their car spied the Bell family approaching from the restaurant, retrieved their baggage, and led them toward the elevator. When the elevator doors opened, the group recoiled in shock and confusion.
Oh God, the deadly elevator!
What is this?
Fucking jump! Yeah.
The bellhop assured the foursome that the elevator posed no danger, and they reluctantly boarded the primitive contraption.
Oh man,
the weirdness would not end there.
It's kind of like watching a kid like try to go on like an escalator, and they just don't know what the fuck to do. You know, like, just let me hang on to you.
No, they just every kid. Yeah. I even recall feeling this way when I was young. You try to overwork an escalator. Like, as an adult, you realize the escalator does the work. Relax. You just step on.
Stand there.
You adjust to the pressure because there's a little shift in pressure, and you coast it out. We all know that because we're grown-ups. But the first time you step on one, you think you really got to work with this thing, or these metal teeth are going to devour you. And kids overwork the escalator so hard, like, and then it becomes a shit show.
they get caught that weird like split stance, and you're like, "No, what are you doing? Jesus Christ, you're embarrassing me!" Like, fucking stop.
I don't even know.
A foot on two different things, and then their little tiny legs go further and further apart. You're like, no.
You're gonna get split in half. No,
that is uncomfortable. I mean, they're pretty steep, though. I can understand. Yeah. I don't remember though the first time I saw an escalator. I have no idea.
No, I can remember because I remember my dad being definitely disappointed with me when I'm like, I don't know how to do it. And he's just like, you asshole, you're 15. I'm like, no,
like everything in the world, he was disappointed with me.
Yeah, exactly. Right, you know what? Rightfully goddamn so. It made me who I am today. Thank you, Dad. Robert, continue.
Fair enough.
Jesus.
Once... So sorry, dude. Once they arrived at their room, the bellhop opened the door, ushered them in, and then turned on the lights. Suddenly, the man emitted a high-pitched scream and began shouting for them to turn them off because the light would damage the children's eyes.
Okay, so
I don't want to laugh because it sounds terrible, but just like, bright light.
Yeah, I was going to say they're Mogwai, part Mogwai.
They're Mogwais, yeah.
Well, totally. Who isn't? Yeah, totally. I mean, at heart, we all are. I think we're all creatures of the dark, but yeah. So apparently that shit was a no-go. Already on high alert due to his manager's concern over these guests, the now terrified bellhop fled without securing the usual tip for services rendered, though it seems unlikely they would have offered one considering their limited knowledge of earthbound etiquette. Of course, that's my opinion. Maybe they would have given him a fine gratuity. There's just no way to know.
Right.
This guy's got like a stack of 20s and shit. He's just fucking handing them out willy-nilly, getting steaks he can't eat. You never know. It might have been a decent, like a $60 tip or something.
Yeah, it could have handed him half the wad. If he had just been a little more courageous and not turned on the fuck-sucking light like a decent bellhop.
Yeah.
Blinding the children. Jesus.
At this point, the manager, the desk clerk, the bellhop, and the restaurant staff had all confided their observations to one another, and each vowed to vigilantly keep their eyes peeled for the departure of the little family the following morning. Those who had yet to see them were no doubt hoping to catch a glimpse. The others were curious about their mode of transport. Despite the fact that the front door was watched all night and every other door of the establishment was locked and would trigger a security alarm if breached, these presumably extraterrestrial tourists, we can go in a lot of directions with that, were never seen again. The alarms were checked and nothing was amiss, but there remained no sign of the Bell family or any of their belongings. So that's the end of the account.
Okay.
Odd and weird. It's not the end. It's not the end of what happens next, but that's the end of the actual Bell family. There's a little tiny bit of an addendum involving Miss Dorothy Simpson. It so happened that Dorothy, the front desk clerk who first encountered the Bell family, was not only intrigued by the subject of visitors from other worlds, but also happened to be member of the local UFO study group of Greater St. Louis.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it is interesting. Knowing that as a witness she could not objectively investigate these incidents, Dorothy sagely passed the information on to ufologist John E. Schroeder. Schroeder managed to interview all 5 of the motel employees not long after the incident in question and found that all of those who had encountered the tiny people seemed to be sincerely bewildered by the events. He also found that the witnesses' descriptions of the Bell family were unerringly consistent, save for the fact that their pale complexions were alternately described as ranging from pearl to pale pink to light gray. But that, I think, you could account for different lighting, maybe different lighting in the restaurant as opposed to the lobby, as opposed to the blinding, searing light of their room that needed to be turned off.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeah.
So that, to me, is a minute difference, but it's cool that Schroeder noted that because, he's being thorough. Schroeder would eventually publish this account in his report, The Strangers Among Us, that was published in the UFO Enigma number 7 of June 1987, so a little bit after the fact. The report was also mentioned by the phenomenal, I fucking love his work, Jerome Clark in his book Extraordinary Encounters, an Encyclopedia of Extraterrestrials and Otherworldly Beings, published in 2000. As far as we know, no one else has ever had an encounter with these individuals or anyone quite like them, and thus officially ends the saga of the Bell family.
Nice. All right. Some weird little, possibly extraterrestrial visitors, just for some reason, dressing all nice, fucking stacks of cash, and they just show up in a hotel like, "What's up? We're here to hang out." A little vacation, maybe.
Christmas vacation.
All right, let's take it from all sorts of perspectives. I mean, They look creepily similar. But then again, sometimes married couples look alike. It's weird, but we've all seen people that are like, yeah, you just kind of married your brother. It's a little odd. Your smiles look exactly alike. Your faces look exactly alike. You're the fucking Osmonds, except you don't have any genetic connection. So good on that part.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
But unerringly alike, and then having kids that are unerringly alike,
sure,
is a little odd. But I do think it's presumptuous to jump to extraterrestrial. No indication of a UFO. I don't know if there was any flap at the time, but nothing that seemed to be in conjunction with the accounts I found with this. Maybe we're talking about fairy folk. I mean, tiny elven-like beings. I mean,
you're going right into the Fae, huh?
I'm just saying, let's not jump extraterrestrial. All right. Well, they clearly did not seem to know human habits.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it does. I mean, it's not like it doesn't fit. It fits. Grays. It does.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's no reason. There's no reason to jump, I guess, to it. But it does.
But they're also super tiny, though.
Yeah, but tiny can be indicative of all sorts of things. I mean, things everywhere. There's plenty of indigenous shit to Earth that's tiny. I mean, that doesn't really necessarily make you extraterrestrial. If you told me the slit mouth, the slanted eyes, the slit-like nostrils, the wide head with the tapering chin, you say that resembles Greys, I'm like, yeah, I got your back. You're right.
Right.
That shit is extraterrestrial-esque, apparently. But size alone, I don't think so.
Well, let's say that to speak terrestrially, what if we are just dealing with a family of, what do they call it? Primordial dwarfs, right?
Like Wang Wang, the great martial arts star of the Philippines? Yeah.
Exactly. I forget the exact term, so please excuse that.
No, I think it is that. I think it is primordial dwarfism. I don't know if there's a more politically correct way of saying it, but I think that's the condition.
Right. So maybe it's just a family that happens to be dealing with this, this genetic condition, which, I mean, I guess it would make, I don't know how that genetically would break down, but maybe it's, a husband and wife and two kids, or maybe it's a husband and wife and a fucking other married couple, who knows? So that is a possibility, because that does exist in our world. So there's always that.
Yeah. I just can't believe you're being logical. This is really fucked up. This is really fucked up.
Do you have COVID, dude? Do you have something to tell us?
So
are you dying?
So Chris, what time did I drop you off?
Oh, I don't know.
This afternoon?
4?
I'm at least 7 beers in, so this is where I start getting smart. So watch out. But when I hit beer number 8, that's when the shit
goes
dumb.
back. Portals! It's all portals. The veil is lifted.
It's one umbrella full of people with genetic disorders. Oh no. So, but we do know that, that does exist on Earth, so that is a possibility. And I mean, at the time,
admittedly thin though. Like I say, what I don't know about primordial dwarfism would fill fucking Encyclopedia Britannica.
None of us are experts on that, but
no.
But I do
you
know
also got to
consider, having read the biography of Wang Wang, or at least the search for it. He was born to a family and had siblings all of normal height. So I don't know if
that is true too.
Primordial dwarves have children. They would be. I mean, there is all right. So basically, all we're saying is even little people can have full-sized children. I mean, that's something that can happen.
Yes.
But yes. All right. Just entertaining that. But I think their identicalness and the esoteric shape and structure of their face. I mean, the lack of a bridge of the nose, the tiny mouth. It wasn't a mouth that was small in proportion. It was just tiny.
Right, a slit. Yeah.
To me, that implies non-human to a degree, or at least different human, I guess, for lack of a better term.
And just more to the point, speaking of the time and what these individuals could be, I don't know if people, when they saw these individuals, if they even had any context for what they may have had as far as this, if they were suffering from some form of dwarfism.
St. Louis,
they might not have any context for it at all.
I mean, and I'm not St. Louis anywhere in America, 1970,
at the time,
probably not a lot of experience with this.
Yeah,
outside of shitty carnivals or whatever.
Yeah, there's the possibility. It's not the fun one. It's kind of a bummer. I hope these people, if this did happen, that I hope everyone's okay and healthy.
Here's the other thing. Before you get too, concerned about their welfare, primordial dwarfism again does not preclude you knowing how to use a fork, understanding what money is, claiming you're from outer space until your wife pissily is like, Hammond, Indiana. You dumb son of a bitch. Why did I marry you?
And talking into a
married Glorg, but no, I had to marry you.
No, fucking Glorg, right. Man. Glorg had money.
Yeah. He made good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no.
All right, so let's go fantastical. So yes, the other aspects of this does not at all sound really that human whatsoever, whether it's the facial features. Obviously height, we just discussed that. But the height is kind of staggeringly tiny. Like, if you're talking about a desk, like just coming up to the desk or sitting at a fucking table at a restaurant and your head's barely above the table. Look, we said, how the fuck do you even eat? You gotta stand on the, like my daughter still has to stand on the goddamn seat sometimes to eat because she's so fucking tiny.
Yeah.
Right.
So, you're all dressed in little tiny suits. Like
a brief time in my youth, being a night clerk at the local Super 8. And the hotel desks are usually just a little higher. It's a built-in desk usually. How this place was laid out in St. Louis back then, I have no idea. But it's standard operating is they don't make you lean over to like, office desk size. It's higher up, so it's easier for the guest who's coming in to set down their luggage and just put their arms up and fill out the form. So I can see it being a little higher than your standard shit, but still their head's barely grazing it. And like you say, their chin's barely going above a table. They're still pretty fucking tiny. And so again, but I'm more intrigued with, like, all right, let's just go with the extraterrestrial. If they're extraterrestrials, what is their motivation for integrating into society, or even if they're fairy folk or whatever they may be, but if they're not human and they don't really have a very thorough grasp of our culture or customs, I mean, let's be honest, if the two men's suits were identical and the two women's dresses were identical, that smacks of, it's the Trekkie geek in me, that smacks of some sort of tech automating identical suits instantly so you can blend with local populace and not a super duper intense knowledge of, looking a little different or whatever, like you just slap on a wig. It seems like, all right, to get to the point, it seems like you have to have a very good reason for wanting to even try to integrate briefly. And if you had a UFO that broke down, say, for example, and you needed to go to town to get like some copper wiring or who the fuck knows what. And so you're like, we got to stay, we got to blend, we got to do our damnedest, even though we don't know anything about this primitive culture. And they've got hair and they wear dead animals on their bodies and they color clothes and plant shit that they weave together. And we got to pretend to eat their fucking food. And we just got to do this shit so we can get our stuff. Then I still don't understand why they would go to a fucking random motel, check in, make it a point to make a show of eating that seems more like a public display than an actual venture to get nourishment, go to a hotel room, worry about the fucking lights, and then just not be there. And they didn't drive there, so they had to walk there or appear there because
apparently they just appeared.
Whistling sigh as
they
Dorothy described it
in a whistle.
Yeah, no, there has to be a reason.
They were there.
I mean, if you're, why would you do that otherwise? There has to be. But then again, why go to that place? Why go to the fucking place to eat? Like,
yes.
Why would you pick that place? Is there a diner? Look, could you have gone somewhere else? Like,
are they anthropologists? Are they
right?
Are they
why
white people? Going in the same decade, the 70s, say, going deep into the Amazonia or in Papua New Guinea or any place where, Stone Age era tribes, who had not had contact with the modern world were existing, and you are desperate to like get a learned look. But even that doesn't seem like. I mean, yes, they're asking about the origins of vegetables. But so maybe it is sort of an academic expedition, or like we're gonna go to Midwest America, or now I'm assuming it's time travel. I don't think it's that at all necessarily. We're here and now. Let's just see how this shit works. Let's talk about everything. The reading of the menu, honestly, is the only thing that strikes me as somebody that's either chronically inexperienced, which is probably the case, or someone that's deeply curious to learn.
Right, but they know the language, but they can read.
But they can read.
The guy was, he was reciting the menu,
which is a little like
aloud.
Clearly you can read English, maybe more, but there's no, you can't tell that from the story.
If they were trying to blend in, I mean, they're basically these four little tiny, weird faced individuals in a land of fucking giants. Basically, I mean, have you ever been around someone that's like almost 7 foot tall?
But why go
6'7"?
There doesn't seem a reason to go in there. Like, why go into this place?
I'm with Chris. That I can't, and I'm 100% with you, Chris, because I'm like, I can't understand the motivation. If it's educational, if these are intergalactic or interdimensional anthropologists, then go to the fucking Smithsonian or go to places. I mean, I guess part of it is you want to find the most primitive tribes in the most rural areas. Now, I'm not saying anything about St. Louis when I say that. I just mean you want to go to normal places where people do things. But if you say are an extraterrestrial, like I posited earlier, that had an accident or something, and you need time to do shit, well, either you would stay hidden, or you would try to figure something. Why are you going to a motel? Why are you going to take a point to eat in the restaurant? Why would you just? Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, and if you don't understand how it works, and the lights are bright, I'm with Chris. I can't wrap my head around why they are doing this.
But why are you blending in so badly? Like, you're not blending in at all. If anything, you're drawing attention to yourself. Like, that's why I'm saying, like, they literally, if they are this size, they are in a land of fucking giants. Like, if they are on some expedition, interdimensionally, anthropologist, whatever, if they're fucking there doing the jam, they're just going to show up and be like, oh, here we are. And then, they obviously, these are the people that we're going to be studying, and holy shit, we're fucking 3'1", and the shortest one of them is 5'2".
Well, you would think they would avatar themselves in or something. Like, here's my human suit.
Right.
If they're trying to hide, they're doing a shit version of it.
Yeah, you would think either they knew that, they should have known this coming in, or maybe they didn't, and they had to improvise when they got there. But you would think.
They just got caught in the worst oh shit moment ever. Like, oh shit,
that could be way off.
Just fucking blended.
I mean, we think we know what dinosaurs are or look like, or Egyptians or whatever. Right. But if we were able to go back, we could. There's a possibility we could be so far fucking off that when we showed up, it was nothing like you thought, and you just have to deal with what you got.
Out like a sore thumb.
Yeah, totally. So maybe they just got caught.
Though I find that fascinating, the idea that you have these preconceived notions. Like, I think probably all dinosaurs were iridescent and covered with fucking feathers, and like every Jurassic Park Ray Harryhausen idea we have is fucking wrong. But like I say, or conversely, these creatures are so not shallow, so not preoccupied with appearances, that the fact that they took the time to have bilateral symmetry, 2 arms, 2 legs, 2 eyes, a chin, look, we threw on hair, look, we're wearing clothes, they think that they are the spitting image of everyone around them, not realizing that human beings are nuanced to not only be super judgmental about appearances, but to really be able to pick out minute details in people's faces and clothing and the types of shoes, if you're that kind of person or whatever. Like, we are super geared to be visually perceptually oriented, and also to be super judgy dicks. And maybe for their culture, that's so far removed that they think that they're like blending in like fucking stink on shit. They're like flies on feces. They're just walking around going, hey, we're here. We look fucking awesome, just like you guys, right? We need to pee off my knife now. I'm awesome. But we're thinking, the fuck is wrong with you?
I mean, that could be, but I would still think that would be knowledge you would know ahead of time. And I only base this because being a Trek nerd, I would assume that people, before you go in a situation like that, you get every possible bit of information that you can. And it would seem like if you're studying Earth, especially at a certain time, that you're going to know.
As you said earlier, it was an emergency landing, or or an accidental portal shift. I mean, if it is, say, not that, you know, call it fey, call it what you will. If this is entities from a parallel Earth or something, and they were Howard the Duck through somehow, where they're like, fuck, I don't know how we were here, but we're here, and now we got to make the best of this. And maybe it was their clothes. Maybe they have similar clothes. Maybe mothers and daughters and fathers and sons match. Who the hell knows? And they're like, all right, listen, we need to eat, and we need to find a place to rest, and we need a place to hole up where we can like put our minds together and figure out how the fuck we're going to get out of this situation. So they have a vague idea of what an inn is, and they eat the closest food that they can recognize to what would be nourishment for them in their world. And they are just doing their best to blend in, get some chow, and hide out until they figure it out. And then evidently fucking did figure it out, because they were gone by no visible means before the next morning.
Yeah.
So maybe it was a pure desperation thing. They're like, shit.
So you know what I think it is, actually? I think it's like a layover. Like they're on their
I dig that.
They're on their way somewhere, totally. But they're like, you gotta stop at Earth for like this amount of time. And so they just got ready and they dealt with it until it was their time to portal the fuck out.
What if interdimensional travel is something like going into the depths of the ocean, and Earth is like just this backwater way station where you have to decompress for a while? Like you'll get the interdimensional equivalent of the bends, and you will fucking die if you go from like dimension X to dimension Z too fast. So you got to stop over in good old dimension Y, which has shitbag Earth in it. And you just got to fucking come here, listen, drink the milk, eat the peas. Your system will calm down. Then you can continue your journey to the fucking place you want to go.
I mean, how are you guys talking about interdimensional portals and shit before I am? Like, what is going on? Is this what quarantine did to us? Really?
Everything's changed.
Yeah.
It's a new world.
Everything's nothing. Yeah,
you're talking about things that actually exist.
As Chris said today.
Yeah. I'm talking about things that I'm talking about shit you should be talking about.
Interdimensional layovers.
Yeah.
Chris and I were pandemic shopping today, and at one point we both have like our fucking
bandit hoodies
on, like we're in coat, our bandit hoodies, and he looks at me and he's like, I don't know, man. What if this is the new normal? So maybe this is the new normal.
Just walking around with sweet bandit fucking things on.
Yeah, looking like a bunch of fucking like we kind of look like Cobra Troopers, like Vipers, which I thought was kind of dope. So the other interesting thing with the story here, though, is that Dorothy is a part of a local UFO.
Yeah.
So that is kind of interesting. So either one of two ways that we can look at this: either she's seeing things and reading into them as much as she can because she is a super UFO nerd, like we all are, which is fine. Or quite possibly, and this is kind of, I guess, hit or miss, that if she was into this, that maybe there are people who research UFOs that do get weird visitations, not necessarily from just Men in Black, but from maybe other extraterrestrials that just kind of pop in to be like, oh, what is this person?
So you're saying that maybe her interest in this phenomenon
maybe drew them in. Yeah,
I'm not.
But
buying
if this
that.
was just,
I'm not buying that.
It's a long shot. It's a long shot.
I mean, Mark is not wrong in that there is a plethora of cases wherein people that were more than a little intrigued by the subject tend to be
that is
experiencers.
Yes, that is 100% true. But I liken that to religious experiences with religious people.
I agree. I think I know where you're going.
You're
if
right.
you want to experience something like this, you are more likely
you'll find a way
to misinterpret something.
Yeah.
But the reason I don't think this is the case, nor do I think it's what Mark's saying either, but the reason I don't think it's just somebody having a big bout of wishful thinking, running into a family of little people and blowing it all out of proportion, is that there were all these other people that got involved. Now, maybe Dorothy hyped them up. Like, dude, they're not people. Fuck. And then they're all like, oh, man.
You're right. They're not people.
So maybe that's that. But I do think the fact that she took the time to involve another researcher and that there were other witnesses there, like it might have been just a sort of mini hysteria instead of a mass hysteria where everyone just got caught up and they're just not used to different looking people. But I also don't necessarily think it's what Mark's saying, where they were coming to visit her, or she was the the true north that the compass pointed to, because she really has so little to do with the story.
Right.
I mean, she was there initially, but honestly, the waitress's experience, the hostess's experience in the restaurant, it's a lot more in depth, and the bellhop's experience is a lot more traumatizing. So in some ways, they actually had more going on than Dorothy did. Although we have to credit her that she made sure that there was some research done into this.
Right. It's just kind of convenient, though, that it happens to someone that just so happens to be into the local UFO group. Like, just putting it out there. Not trying to discredit anybody. Just, I'm just trying to cover all just the facts, Rob.
It does put up the skeptic, the radar starts beeping a little bit, and you're like, well,
I got my Michael Shermer jacket on right now, so watch out.
Well, is it designer? Does it have a logo?
Yeah, it does.
Come on now. Come on now.
Obviously.
I've got my Shermer blazer, and it's excellent.
Oh, well, yeah. We all should have a Shermer blazer of some sort. Come on.
We should, yeah. Come on.
I'll design the logo.
Yeah. All right.
So there is that possibility. So we're talking interdimensional. We're talking extraterrestrial. Let's get to our favorite little tiny people, the fairies. Fairy science, we're not really sure how this shit works.
I'm not sure it's science. I mean, it is.
It is what it is. But maybe
either what did we say before, like supra-terrestrial, in the sense that these are intelligent entities that have existed on the Earth for as long, if not longer, than modern humans. Likely worked with anything from Australopithecus to Neanderthal, or at least tormented them or helped them, or who knows what, and that eventually either figured out a way to remain hidden because we are a truly destructive species and it pays not to be on our radar. Especially, I mean, back when we were like wielding swords and had catapults, but I can't even imagine what they would think about it now. Or maybe found a way, as often is the case, where the veil thins or whatever, and you can slip into a underground or perhaps alternate dimension fairy world. If that exists, and if the history of our world really is that of multiple intelligent species, including fucking well-hung Icelandic elves and fucking goblins and ogres and fuck all, while that's fascinating and terrifying, it would certainly bear out a lot of the legends of ancient worlds. But if that's true, why would they come and why would they want to stay in a motel?
Yeah, that's kind of the question. I mean, maybe they're just, popping on and doing the scene, kind of like Bill Murray in Zombieland, where he's like, I'm here, I'm just going to do it.
I mean, yeah.
The fucking Bill Murray theory.
I mean, it's the 70s.
Why not?
The swinging 70s. There could be like little fucking, car
really,
keys
little
and the
swingers?
Fucking fishbowl part.
Oh, man.
Interdimensional fairy swingers. Why not? Sometimes you got to get your troll on, but it's not cool if you're a fucking gnome. You're considered a weirdo. But if you meet in St. Louis, no one knows what's going on at the little hotel there. You just all show up. You all fucking pay your dues. Some look weirder than others. Some have better camouflage. Fucking get it out of your system. You go home. No one knows your sweaty little secrets.
Okay, so
I don't
is that
feel
like
this is what that is.
We have a no. Probably not. We're gonna call that we have a local motor lodge here in town, which apparently hosts a lot of swinger parties.
What?
So I've
call
heard.
that yeah, exactly. So we'll call that the motor lodge swinger party with fairy.
All right.
Fucking fairy.
Yeah, you know what? We're gonna need to catch your name, dude.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to put the fucking.
No, I understand you're not going to put it on shout out. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, because I just yeah. So all right. So yeah, you're right, Rob. Interdimensional swinging fairy, just here trying to fucking get wet and stay safe.
You sound so defeated. You're just like, yeah, you're right, Rob. That's what it is.
Yeah, you got it.
Fine.
Interdimensional fairies.
Yeah,
fucking their way through Earth.
Trying to get their little dinks wet. There you go.
It would make sense, though, because Earth is probably like the Vegas for these fuckers. Just this place where you just go and you cut loose and it doesn't matter.
Yeah, but there's
no shame follows you home from Earth because the stains stay in Earth.
There's no evidence for that in this story, though.
No, but there's no evidence
show up. They
not for that. Boom.
That is not an argument. That is a non-argument.
Is this what it... Is this what it's like talking to me every week, Chris? Really? Is this really what it's like? I'm sorry.
Times 10.
You deserve a better. You deserve a better friend, Chris. I'm sorry. I've failed you.
You're not
so
apologizing to me, who also endures it every week. You son of a bitch, Mark Storrs.
You fucking feed the fire, and you're like, yeah, no, Mark, it's all reptiles. Yeah, Mark. Yeah,
I never have. I have
all,
never
it's
once
all
told you
reptiles.
It's all
100% reptiles.
Right, Mark. After the podcast, I call him up when he's alone. I'm like, you were always right, Mark. It was always the reptiles. I was thinking the same thing, but I didn't have the courage to say it in front of Chris. Maybe next week I will. Next week I'll get your back and say it, but then I never do the next week.
That's true. I believe it.
He doesn't even call me Mark. He just calls me up and he's like, "Hey, is the truth there?" And
no!
The
truth.
Hey,
yeah, can I talk to the truth?
Looking for the scaly truth. Is he there?
Yeah, the scaly.
When I talk to Nick, I'm like, hey, can I talk to your husband?
You know what's funny is that there's a whole generation of people that never have to call a number and ask for the person because the number they call is always going to be the person.
Yeah, no, never.
I never even.
They don't have to call and be like,
"That's fucked up."
Can I talk
you don't
to
even
Sally?
have to learn how to talk to parents. Yeah. How weird is it that we all had to learn to talk to someone's dad if we wanted to talk to the girl that we wanted to be inside of, or just be friends?
Thanks for throwing in that caveat.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, there you go.
Well, that was the truth. That's what made it so much weirder to talk to fucking Bob. Hey, Mr. Kellerman.
Kellerman.
I remember talking, to girls' dads, being like, "Hey, it's me, Mark, a.k.a. the Truth Box of Reptiles. Yeah. Can I please speak to Angela? All right, cool, thanks."
Yeah, I'm a unit.
Yeah, I got my own place on the dumpster on the corner of fucking...
I got my own place.
I'm responsible, got my own dumpster.
Listen, you know what? This is a fucked up thing, okay? You run away from your house once and live in a dumpster for 4 hours and everyone thinks you're an asshole. You know what?
You never lived that down.
It was freedom. All right? It was freedom, Christopher. Did you run away
I'm not saying you're an asshole. When I picture it in my mind, I just picture you with your back against the dumpster just stewing, being like, fuck those guys. Fuck them. Then 2 hours go by and you're like, I don't know, man.
I was literally in the dumpster because there was nothing in the dumpster.
Oh, I just pictured.
I have never imagined you actually in.
No, why would you actually go in the dumpster?
There's nothing in it.
Why did you go in the dumpster?
Because it had like a roof on it.
You could have. Was it raining out? Was it a blizzard?
No. I was just being broody.
Was it a nice summer day? Was it a nice summer day?
I just assumed you went look around the back and hung out.
I think so.
Why did you fucking go in? You lean against the dumpster and say, I'm going to live in the dumpster. You don't climb
on the side of the dumpster. That's the deal.
Listen, I ran away from home once for 4 hours, hung out in a dumpster, and this girl that I hung out at the time brought me cookies. I ate them all, and then I went back home defeated.
Let this be a lesson to all our young listeners out there. No one can see you brood in a dumpster.
Yeah, you have to brood outside of the dumpster.
They weren't supposed to.
You brood outside the fucking dumpster.
So people come by and see you brood. You have to look dope while you're brooding.
It's the only way you look cool when brooding. No one sees you inside. Garbage gets dumped on you inside of a dumpster. You brood outside.
Yeah, you get raccoons.
Thankfully, the dumpster that I resided in for 4 hours, it was for a factory where it was mostly like plastic parts. So there was no trash in the dumpster. It was just a big metal bin.
You got a girl to bring you Hostess snack cakes and lift up a dumpster lid and say, "Here, Mark."
Did she knock on the dumpster? She's like, "Mark, you in there?" Yeah.
It's my house. Thank you.
Listen. You keep calling me Mark. You know goddamn well my name is the Truth, a.k.a. Box of Reptiles. So please, a little bit respect.
B-O-R.
MC Box of Reptiles.
B-O-R.
Boar.
Jesus. B-O-R. So back to the Bell family here, and enough of my little fucking trying to move out of my house when I was fucking 13. Failing miserably at it, but eating all the ho-hos. So what do we think that we're dealing with? Extraterrestrial, fae, interdimensional. Where's everyone at with this right now?
It's easy going to say extraterrestrial. They have some of the earmarks, a lot of the earmarks, especially from the eyes down, especially prototypical grays. The lack of any UFO flap, at least that I'm aware of, though maybe there was, or if one person just saw a light go down in the woods behind the motel, boom, that's that. But to me, it becomes harder. Now, this is where I would say Dorothy and her, I won't say acolytes, but her buddies in this UFO organization, and Schroeder, who came out to investigate, this is where they might taint it a little, and or at least tinge it. Taint might be a little too harsh, and that is their interest is in extraterrestrial life forms in the vehicles they ride in. So they're going to paint it as an extraterrestrial encounter when there doesn't seem to be any truly compelling evidence for that being the case. What is intriguing is their besides their bizarre appearance, which obviously is noteworthy and is key, is their lack of knowledge of typical, not just American or Midwest American, but human customs. Like, they can read. They apparently have a grasp of the language. But what they don't know is, where they're from. Or they do know where they're from. That's the one thing. So I'm ignoring that. He does point to the fucking sky.
Yeah, 100%.
So let me read.
And then the wife gets all pissed
because I forget he points to the fucking sky, and it's Hammond, Indiana, in the sky. So yeah, I guess it's fucking aliens. I take it all back. They're clearly, or they're flying fairies. I don't know. From the sky. Also,
are we just going to settle on aliens? Is that what we're going to do?
It's hard.
I mean, the guy did say where he was from.
I mean, where'd they get the bills from? Unless they had a UFO that can, replicator.
Dude,
I know we're going back to Trek again, but make the matching suits, make the matching dresses, make a bunch of 20s, because for you, it's just some shitty paper. You're whatever, we always assume it's, again, like super Trekky technology where you can break down a whole civilization, look at all their communication, know everything about them, and then go in. But maybe that's not how their tech works. Maybe their tech is a lot more organic and weird, and it's based on love and hugs and pine needles and I don't fucking know what. So they're doing the best they can. It's like, oh, this paper means something. This is the shit they put on their bodies not to be naked. If you're bald, it's weird because it's 1970 and Kojak is not barely on the air yet. So you just do the fundamental shit you have to do, and you have a pile of cash which can get you in anywhere, and you just have to find a way to hide in a dark room because the sun will kill you, because if bright lights are fucking terrifying, who knows what the sun could do. And maybe that's their key, just to get out of the harsh brightness of Earth. And then by the time dawn comes by again, they're out. They've figured out their shit and they're gone.
So aliens. All right. There you go.
I'm still going with the fucking layover protocol.
Okay, but now
it doesn't have to be. They still could be aliens. It doesn't. The thing is she claims they just appeared. So that doesn't mean there has to be a UFO sighting at all. The layover protocol makes sense to me. They're like, you got a couple hours, you got to fucking kill, and here you are.
Yep. We call that the old Pittsburgh protocol, because for some reason every time I fly, I get stuck having a layover.
It's Chicago
in
usually for me.
Pittsburgh's a great fucking city.
What's that?
I love Pittsburgh. I go there intentionally as often as I can. Granted, I'm a Penguins fan, I'll admit, but also a George A. Romero fan. May he rest in peace. Looking at my piece of the Monroeville Mall right now, but
nice.
There's a lot to be said for Pittsburgh.
It's a great town.
I've never been to Chicago. There's places I've had layovers. I will not call you out right now that are shit shows. Pittsburgh is not one of them.
New Jersey. Sorry.
See, you had to go naming names, didn't you? Had to go naming names.
Newark is a fucking nightmare. It is a nightmare wrapped in a fucking sandwich.
That was the one I wasn't going to mention.
Mark is there.
Well, no one's excited about Newark at all. The fucking airport blows. It's fucking terrible. It sucks. No, it's terrible. Pittsburgh and Newark are the ones I always get stuck with. Never Chicago or anything cool. So,
you're not going to the goddamn East or West Coast. You don't get stuck in Chicago when you're just going south.
It's true. It is true. But when you go to Vegas, you do get stuck in Pittsburgh.
When you were heading to Mexico to study the pyramids and the aliens, a.k.a. your honeymoon, where'd you lay over then?
Oh, New Jersey, both
really?
Back.
That was the layover?
Yeah.
Wow, I would expect it somewhere in the Southwest.
New Jersey was. Which is fucking bizarre because we flew out of Rochester.
Oh.
So we
weird.
flew for an hour to Jersey. Like that was it. Like it was, yeah. And I remember that specifically because I had to sneak. I was a smoker at the time. I had to sneak out all the way past security to the front of fucking Newark Airport. Get out there, rip a missile as quick as I could, looking at the fucking New York City skyline.
Yeah,
I gotta get back. And Nicole was not happy with me.
No, you're a dick.
So you can do. Yeah, pretty much. That is it. Mark is a dick that tried to live in the dumpster to defy his parents.
Mark'sadick.org.
Mark'sadick.org. There it is. All right, and so we're all going with aliens, right?
Don't brood in a dumpster.
No, don't do it. .net. All right, cool. So there you have it. That is the Bell family. Thank you all so very much for joining us, Cryptonaut Podcast. We've got some announcements, and they are hellerspace.com. We have 2 T-shirts. The proceeds for those T-shirts are going to a charity, which will be benefiting our local Meals on Wheels.
Yeah, it helps program. A lot of people. We got a lot of older people here. We got a lot of people that were kind of shut-ins before this happened, and even more so, it's important that they have food. So we're trying to, just like everyone's trying to help people all around and in our own backyard. So anything you can do to help us help them is so greatly appreciated.
Yep.
Yeah, and it's the designs are it's the Heller Space Alive.
That's our latest one where we're with our logo and all weaponed up with the UFO beaming down on us.
That is. Yep, that is that design is the Plan 9 from Heller Space.
Yes.
The other Heller Space Alive design is us as Kiss.
Oh, the Kiss, yes. Which I love drawing, by the way. Yeah. That was so fucking fun. So
those 2 designs are $20, and when you purchase them for $20, $8 goes to the charity. So yeah. Not a big thing at all. It's a way for us
none to us,
just
for making shipping, and then all the profit that we would get goes right to the charity. So
yeah, totally. So that definitely helps out. And again, that is hellerspace. And that's going on for a while. I think it's almost up for like 40 some odd days still. So that's
damn, all right. Yeah, let's do it.
Check that out. Yeah, so that's a continuous thing. The patreon.com/Cryptonaut Podcast. As we mentioned in the beginning of the episode, if we murdered your name in the shoutouts, which we more than likely did. Oh, God,
yeah. There was a lot of tough names this time. Yeah.
Just email us, cryptonautpodcast@gmail.com. Give us your name, and you know what? Do us a solid and just kind of like phonetically put it out there. Like Eric B. Writer, we would have thought that it was Baruder. He's like,
absolutely.
Nope, here you go. You guys are dumb. There you go. The same.
Or Jamila.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, Jamila was so kind. She sent me a message. She's like, Mark, you can't speak. This is how you say my name. I'm like, thank you so very much. I appreciate the phonetic spelling. It helps us out because we have to have a 10-minute fucking session ahead of time going over names that
we did
ultimately forget. But we end up forgetting them and fuck them up anyway. So just do us a favor and just send us how to pronounce your name. It helps us out a lot. I think that's pretty much it. The Heller Space, the Patreons. What do we got coming up? Anything happening? A couple of interviews that we're going to be putting up on the Patreon very soon. Check that out. And Rob's going to be making some appearances. We will have links for that. Be sure.
One of them is going to be done by the time this comes out, but
it's okay. Whatever. You're going to be having more appearances, I'm sure, other places. So be sure to check all that out.
I think I'm going to be on Spaced Out Radio again soon. Some other stuff, but totally. We'll be doing it. We'll be doing more interviews. Yep.
Unfortunately, and we have tried this for years, having 4 people on is next to fucking impossible. It just doesn't work.
Well, it's a lot easier when we're all in the same room and we can just point to whoever wants to ask a question and they can like, hey, me, and then do it. But it's much, much harder when we're doing it virtually.
Yeah, when we're working remotely, it's definitely much harder.
I want to say, too, I've upgraded my cooler to a plastic bin, and steamed California medley is now what's keeping my beer cold. So
what's the California medley?
Keep our listeners... it's, I'll tell you what it is.
I want to know.
California medley.
It is broccoli, florets, cauliflower, and carrots. No sodium added. It's season's choice.
That sounds great.
Wow.
Yeah. It's actually really probably pretty tasty, but right now it's just keeping my beer cold. So awesome.
Yeah, and then by the time this is over, it's just going to be melted, mushy, fucking gross vegetables that you're probably not going to eat. Dude, so there you go.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Just eat that, microwave that shit. All right, good.
Exactly. Right. What are you talking about? I'm not going to throw shit away.
I don't.
We're in quarantine. It's vegetables. It's good.
Yes, we are in quarantine. So, all right, there you have it. Thank you all for joining us. Speaking of the quarantine, stay safe, stay healthy.
Absolutely.
Stay inside. We're going to fucking ride this out again for us in New York. We're stuck here till fucking May 15th. So hopefully by then, after some shit changes, that would be fucking
It would be
dope. We'll see what happens. Whatever. Regardless, we're going to still be doing episodes on Patreon. We're going to still be doing fucking weekly episodes. So everything is fucking dope. Hope everyone out there is safe and doing well. And we'll talk to you soon.
See you later, people.
Hey, say hey. Don't tell me what to do.
Oh, I miss you guys.
See you later.
I know. See you later. Bye. Oh, Rob, I've got to drop off at your house. I have presents for you.
Oh, snap.
Yeah, I got presents.
I love it.
What presents do I got for Rob? He doesn't even know.
No, I don't, but I'm stoked.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. All right.
So dumb. So stupid. All right, I drank too much. All right, see you guys later. Bye.